Back to our breaking news, and it is a big story. 2 men arrested in New York linked to an ongoing investigation into a possible terror plot to take place in Manhattan. And get this, one of the suspects was caught yesterday after he crashed his car, apparently trying to get away from agents who had him under surveillance. David Lee Miller is live at the federal courthouse in Brooklyn. David, what can you tell us about what these 2 men may have been involved with?
Well, Jamie, first let me say that authorities right now are not releasing a great deal of information regarding possible charges, but I can tell you that the 2 men were associates of Najibul Azazi. He is the Queens, New York man who then moved to Denver, who is now facing charges of conspiracy to use weapons of mass destruction. It is believed that both of these men traveled with him to Pakistan in 2008. Now, let me tell you the names of the 2 men. One is Adis Medujanin, the other is Rain Ahmedzai. As for Medujanin, the circumstances of his arrest are especially intriguing. We have some tape shot overnight. Apparently, after his passport was confiscated yesterday afternoon at the family apartment, he got into a car accident. At the time, he was being trailed by the FBI and authorities. He got into this accident in Queens, New York, near the Whitestone Bridge. You can see his vehicle clearly in the video, the windshield smashed. His car apparently hit another vehicle. After the accident, he apparently tried to flee on foot. He was nabbed by authorities, taken to a local hospital, and currently he is now in custody. We expect that he and Ahmedzai are going to be arraigned in just a few hours' time. Jamie?
David Lee, is there any information about why this arrest took place now if they had him under surveillance?
The authorities have not said why the arrest took place today. I can tell you that if you go back 4 months, the time that Najibul Azazi was taken into custody, both of these individuals were questioned by authorities, one for as many as 14 hours. I talked to the lawyer for Medujanin. He said he didn't even know his client had been arrested until he heard reports on the news media. But we should be mindful of the fact that these 2 arrests take place now less than 24 hours after the president said that there is a war against Al-Qaeda. Possibly a coincidence, possibly ratcheting up efforts to bring terrorists to justice.
David Lee Miller live at the courthouse. David Lee, we'll check back with you. Thanks.
More on this now. The suspects arrested this morning were raised in Queens, New York. Both were graduates of Flushing High School. So how did they allegedly become extremists accused of trying to detonate bombs in their own hometown? Those are the kind of questions that led to a study here in the U.S. to find some answers. And Lauren Green now joins us with more about that. What's up with the study, Lauren?
A lot of stuff. Well, the study is showing that homegrown terror is a reality. As in the case of the Fort Hood mass murder of 13 service members, an American Muslim officer is now charged with that. And recently, 5 American men from Northern Virginia arrested in Pakistan, supposedly on their way to join the Taliban in Afghanistan. The Duke University and University of North Carolina study showed that since 9/11, 139 American Muslims motivated by extremism have been identified for either planning or carrying out violent attacks. The shocker, 41 of the cases were in 2009. That's a nearly 600% increase from the year before. All but 1 of those were Muslim males under the age of 30. And despite the spike, the researchers believe that the threat of Muslim American terrorism is exaggerated.
A lot of that data is because of the Somali community, which from Minneapolis, where 20 young men went to join a movement in Somalia. And that accounts for a lot of the data. But there's no doubt there's a spike in 2009. I just think it's a little too early to tell if that is an aberration or a trend.
But the terrorism experts we talked with say the numbers speak for themselves, and it is clear there is a rise of homegrown radical Islam.
Between the beginning of 2009 till the end of the year, we had 1 case of terror, attempted terror or successful terror in months, which means that the jihadists are growing in numbers, and their perception is that we are going weaker. That's why they attack.
Now, Duke researchers stress the Muslim community here in the U.S. is playing a significant role in preventing the growth of radical Islam. They are building strong social networks, getting involved in nonviolent political activities, and trying to police themselves so that some sort of intervention takes place before anything happens again.
Up there, Lauren Green, thank you for that. Here in our newsroom in New York. Jane?
Interesting